Okay, so today I'm going to compare some noise gates. We've got the old trusty ISP decimator 2. It's not the G-string 4-cable one, just the standard one. So that one we're just going to go through the front with. Did have the G-string one until recently. Yeah, sold that one, which I will speak about later if I remember. I've also got the Lone Wolf Audio Endless Blockade, which we're going to try through the front and using the 4-cable method. And just received that Endless Blockade I've just sold as well, so I just thought I would do a quick video and compare that one to the klirrton schnauze, which I just received. That one we can go through the front and 4-cable method as well. Alright, so first up we're going to go the decimator. I've picked the noisy PV6505 for this one. It is a very noisy amp when you got that gain cranking, so it'll be a good one for this test. Yeah, definitely a bloody noisy animal. Alright, so let's get stuck into it, and I'll chat a bit about it later if I remember. One sec. Okay, so the decimator 2, you'll hear the noise as soon as I turn this amp on. Okay, so yep, she's definitely noisy. The gate is on right now. Here's the gate off. Gate on. And the gate back on. Alright, let's play for a bit. Okay, so that was the decimator 2, standard decimator, just in the front, which really only cuts any noise introduced through the front end by, say, some high gain pickups or boost pedals and whatnot. Doesn't really cut the noise within the amp itself so much. So I just had a change of heart. I've just decided I'm going to run this just through the loop and bypass it through the front. We'll give that a quick go while I've got it set up. See if that makes any difference that way. Okay. So amp is on. Okay, so that was really noisy, so I've just plugged the foot switch in and checked the effects loop was on, which it is. It was. And I'll just toggle the loop on and off as well. Strangely, it doesn't appear to be as effective this way, but it is quieter when there's volume rolled off on the guitar, but as soon as you turn the volume up, it's a bit more out of control than it was through the front. So we've got the loop on at the moment. I'll just turn the volume up. Pretty loud. The effects loop off. Hard to tell, but it is a tiny bit louder. Okay, so I'll just play for a bit with it on. Let's try the decimator off. Okay. yeah, that doesn't make much of a difference that way. It's kind of actually pretty useless through the loop of this particular amp anyway. Can be different depending on the loop of the actual amp. So anyway, let's move on to the next pedal. We'll go with the Lone Wolf Audio. Okay, so we've got the endless blockade going through the front. Surely this should be better than the decimator. Let's turn the amp on. Okay, so the gate is off. Gate on. So that's just through the front. It's reasonably quiet. Play for a bit. Okay, now we'll try it through the loop. Okay, so the blockade is now going through the loop with the 4-cable method. That is the sucker right, oh, Jesus Christ, right there. Sorry, it's on a stand. Not going to take it off because last time I did that I bumped it and stopped the recording. So sorry about the picture, but yep, we've got the blockade going with the loop engaged. Okay, sorry, the loop is on now. Gate off. Gate back on. Play for a bit. And last but not least, we're going to try this, the klirrton schnauze. Okay, so the gate is off. Gate on. Play for a bit. This is just through the front this time. Okay, we've now got the schnauze going through the loop, the 4-cable method. Effects loop is on, pretty quiet. Effects loop off. It should be the same as gate on, gate off, so gate is on, gate is off. Yep. Okay, so huge difference there. Alright, I'll play for a bit. Okay, so pretty hard to tell from that video and demonstration. I would even have to listen back and see which was my favorite. Obviously the blockade and the schnauze were a big step up from the decimator. They both performed very well today. The main reason I'm selling the blockade, it is a great pedal when it's set up well, working well. When it works really well, but it is probably the fussiest pedal I've ever had. When I first got it, I had nothing but trouble and just had to go through a few different power supplies, buy new leads, and have everything running well. It needs a really good series effects loop to function well. If you run it through a parallel, it can actually sometimes create just as much noise or more noise than what it's trying to cut. So yeah, fussy pedal. I've had it for about a year. I've tried it through about 12 different amps, and it probably only liked maybe 3 or 4 of them. Through the loop, through the front, it's more consistent, but through the loop, yeah, you can have a lot of dramas with that one. So I probably wouldn't recommend it if it's going to be your only noise gate, because you probably want another one, maybe just a decimator or something that's more reliable to just work well with all amps, even if it doesn't work quite as well. And the schnauze, I found it works a lot better. Still, obviously it'll work better with a series loop, but it's not so noisy with a parallel. It's not so fussy with leads and power supplies, and it works. It's hard to say. When the blockade is working well, it probably does actually function a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I would take one that's just better across the board for more amps, especially if you own a stack of amps. So that's why I've chosen to sell the blockade and keep the klirrton. Dude who builds these blockades, he has a lot of followers and he cops a lot of shit, and I can see both sides of the story. Here is the insides of the blockade. I pulled them apart while we're at it. Don't know how well you can see that. So I wouldn't say it's super rough, but you can see solder spots. There's 2 boards there with a random piece of foam in between the 2 boards to separate them. Don't know where the foam came from, but that was in there. I bought this brand new. Bought them both brand new. The klirrton was actually a little bit cheaper than the blockade. And also the holes here, they're unmarked with what they are. No box or manual to tell you what they are either. And they're kind of oversized with the holes, and the washers don't even cover the holes. So you got to be careful not to bump the leads there. That can cause noise as well. So yeah, a very fussy, fiddly little pedal, but when it is set up well, it does actually work really well. Like, my only fault is that, yeah, it's just fussy, very fussy. And here is the klirrton, which I've only just pulled apart for the first time. It's actually very, very neat in there. I'll try to give you a good look. It's, compared to the blockade, this is almost, I don't know how a human could even do this. It's just unreal. I can't see any solder blobs. Everything just looks just really tight. Just really good. Okay. So yeah, there you have it. 3 noise gates. Again, like I said, my favorite is the schnauze, but the blockade can function better when you have it set up well. So yeah, tell me which was your favorite. Cheers.